People come to Medellin, fall in love with this city, and decide to stay here or relocate here permanently. The only problem is that in order to live here legally and be able to function, you're going to have to secure residency. I had the same experience, and in today's video, I'll explain the residency process I undertook and talk to you about how I'm now in a position to help others make it happen too. On this channel, I talk about global living and share ways for you to afford it. For most people that want to move out of the United States, the top concern is when I leave, how will I earn money? Either way, me and my team are here and we have you covered. My name is Carl Pierre, and this is ENZP Life. I'm looking at potentially relocating my family to Medellin, and to do so, I first had to obtain a visa that allows me to stay for the long haul, but that's a bit tricky. When coming to Medellin as an American, you are actually coming in on an automatic tourist visa that is eligible for 90 days of stay, of continuous stay. However, most people extend for another 90 days, which is totally allowable by the government. You could see the same thing happening in Mexico and other places that give automatic 90-day visas. They usually give a 90-day extension. What's happening is a lot of people are taking advantage of that, and the government started to crack down and not honor those extensions because it's really part-time residents, and what they want to do is be able to account for everybody who's in the country and of course be able to tax you when you're living here. So what you have to do when you're deciding to relocate here is establish some sort of long-form stay, and that's not going to be on your tourism visa. Another thing that's tricky about relocating here is that when you do relocate here, if you don't have a visa, it's going to be hard to open bank accounts, somewhat difficult to get an apartment leased directly in your name because you need to have like a credit profile and an identity here. So without having like real residency, you are in a situation where you're functioning as an illegal immigrant and you're not going to be able to function very well while you're here. I have a few friends who have made the move full time, and I asked them to put me in contact with their immigration attorney to see if there was a simple path to get residency as an American. Here's what I found out. Their process was a little different than mine because they were immigrating as Venezuelans to Colombia, and there's a little bit of a different process, but also they had set up a business here and their process was a lot different. However, they knew that if I set up a business here, I could qualify for one of the business visas. You see, what is available to you here are really three options from a kind of a typical standpoint, without having to get married or anything like that. Your first option is the digital nomad visa. This is a new program that they just rolled out, and it's still not quite clear how it's being managed. I know one person so far who's gone through that process. We're studying that process and we're gonna be able to help with that. But with the digital nomad visa, what it is stating is that you could be here for an extended stay, get some sort of proof of identification, and be able to function in this country. But the main thing that you need to do is qualify through having some sort of passive income or foreign income that allows you to earn while you're here, so you're not obviously becoming a problem in society, not earning, living on the street, that sort of thing. So that's one option. The second option that they discussed with me was to start a business. And if you start a business here in Colombia and you employ Colombians, you have to invest at least, I would say it's around 25 to 30,000 US dollars, because that number fluctuates based on the currency of Colombia, but you have to invest about 25 to 30K, build a business and employ Colombians. And that's pretty much the main thing that will qualify you to be here on a migrant class visa. Now that migrant class visa could be approved from anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Mine was approved for 3 years, which is a little uncommon, but I already had a lease here, I had employees working, I was active, I was providing health insurance and that sort of thing. So when I did my visa interview, they were able to extend me for 3 years because they saw that I was running a legit business. So that's your second option. The third option to get residency or a visa by investment is to buy a piece of real estate here. Now, if you know that you're gonna be relocating here and that you wanna own, you have some money saved up, you wanna buy something, whether it's in the city or the countryside, you could invest about 150,000 US dollars, and that will automatically qualify you for residency. You won't be on a migrant visa, you won't be on a digital nomad visa. You are fast-tracked to residency. And if you're a resident for 5 years, you qualify for citizenship. The option I went with was to start a Colombian-based business. I have been outsourcing staff with my business partner at Freelance.com and decided to establish more resources as direct hires for ENTP Life to qualify for a permanent visa. Speaking of hiring people, I'm now helping entrepreneurs and healthcare companies get the additional help they need. We've developed a team of bilingual, college-educated professionals to help you grow or maintain your business. If you need a solid employee at a fraction of the price of the employees in the United States, use the link below and contact us to screen candidates. This is one of the ways that I've pushed my company's growth while freeing up my personal time to do really whatever I want. As I mentioned before, I had to invest 30,000 US dollars to qualify. Here's what I did. My investment was a bit different. Again, I already knew that I was going to employ people here. So I didn't have to kind of set up this, kind of phony corporation where we are kind of just a shell to try to apply for the visa. My process was to first set up a business here. And that's like a typical Colombian corporation. It has the designation SAS. So you set up this corporation, then I have to fund that corporation as a foreign investor. So it's a Colombian company, but me coming in as an investor from the United States. So I had to clarify and clear that my money wasn't illegal and from reputable sources. I had to do a background check. It's actually a bunch of steps to legitimize the money because they really have kind of concerns with money laundering and the cocaine era. We don't really have to talk about that, but that's the reality of it. So they're gonna be pretty strict about money flow coming in. Once the money comes in, you should establish a operation location, so like an office, and employ people. So what I did, since I already have resources kind of scattered throughout the world, I have some in Venezuela, here in Colombia, England, Scotland, and now I got a couple of people working in Italy. So there's a global workforce that I have anyway. And I knew that I would be using some of the resources here to power ENTP Life and to back us up there from editing to filming to doing our social media. And in addition, I have my resources that are hired to support my healthcare companies, my healthcare staffing and home care agencies back in the States. So I knew that I would start kind of moving away from a freelancer model to an official employee model where I have to pay taxes on the employees, I have to provide them with benefits, and they are true, functional, pretty much the equivalent of W-2 employees in the United States. By doing all those things before having my immigration interview, I was able to prove that I have an operating business with money coming in from the United States, with people who are working here in the country, gainfully employed, insured, so they also are not a drain on society. And because of that, I was able to qualify for a long-term visa. My next step is to start the application process with my family to get my children and my wife qualified as well under my migrant class visa that will allow them to stay for greater than 90 days at a time as well. Now that I've been through this process, we're offering relocation and visa assistance for anyone who wants to permanently relocate to Colombia. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, this is the perfect setup to buy your residence while hiring staff to help you expand or maintain your business. Email me at the email address below to set up a call to start planning your relocation. Medellin is an awesome city with so much to offer. Check out this video where I tour Medellin and show you what makes this place special in my eyes. You get a chance to see the culinary scene, the city, and the countryside, giving you a good idea of what you could expect when relocating here. The best part is that you could live a pretty good life on just about $1,500 a month.